What's up, everybody, and welcome to season 3, episode, I think 3 or 4, I don't even remember, of the Daily Pill, a publication sponsored by our parent company, Angel Home Care Services, a company providing services to the South Florida area, primarily Dade County and Monroe communities, when it comes to helping convalescent loved ones at home. All right, and so today I want to talk about something that is actually a live case that I got going on right now, but I'm not going to go into details. I'm just going to kind of go over the overview of the whole thing, and it's exactly how I titled this episode today, which is your insurance maxed out, and so did your budget. So now what? What do you do? When it comes to home care, there are times where your needs go beyond what the insurance will cover and what your pocket will, on your pocket budget, pretty much. When this happens, I want to show you how you can reduce your out-of-pocket home care expenses by anywhere from 20 to 40%. Okay, and here's how you do that. So the biggest expense when you're caring for someone at home is the actual care, right? The caregiver. That's your biggest expense. And and usually you hire a caregiver via 2 ways, right? Via the agency, right? Or you DIY, right? You do it yourself. You do it directly. So many times the caregiver will be a cost that's already covered by some sort of insurance, small amount of insurance, usually Medicaid or something like long-term care insurance, or mostly, like, there are some specific programs out there that we covered this a while back through in one of the episodes that I did. But let's just say that sometimes, even though it's covered, your needs go beyond that. It's the whole point, right? And so when this happens, at this point, you either need to reduce cost or just come up with more money to pay for the care for the hours that you need extra. So there are 2 ways that, and by the way, there's pros and cons to doing this. To all things being equal, if you hire through an agency, there are pros and cons to that. If you do it yourself, there are pros and cons to that, and that's what I wanted to kind of go over right now. So if you do it through the agency, right? Oh, and by the way, you usually won't see an agency giving advice on how not to use an agency, right? But today you are, okay? Today you are going to hear that, and I think it's going to be kind of valuable. Because who wouldn't want to save 20 to 40% of costs, right? The thing is that there is, it implies, right, when you do it yourself, it implies the work that is got to get done. But quickly, let me go through the pros and cons. I'm just going to go through my notes here on the difference between privately hiring a caregiver or doing it through an agency. So the pros of hiring directly is you're in charge of the selection process and making the final decisions, right? It's on you. Everything's on you, okay? It's generally less expensive than going through an agency because there's no premium to be paid. The agency earns its keep, its business, by doing all the work necessary to make sure that at every point in time you have someone you can depend on. And so that's why they usually charge X amount above what they're paying the caregiver, and the difference is what they earn, right? You're giving caregivers the opportunity to work independently for better wages, okay? If you can work that out for them, The cons are, it may be difficult to find qualified caregivers. It's a lot of work. We do it at scale, and it's kind of difficult when you're dealing with maybe one or two or three or a team of three just for your mom or dad, if you know what you're doing, um, it's um, it can work out, right? And the savings are substantial enough to warrant that as an option, as a bona fide option. Okay, an option that many times I advise caregivers that this may be the way to go for them. Okay, um, and you will also need a backup plan when your caregiver is not available, right? That's a kind of like a pain because you always need to make sure that no matter what happens, there's somebody there. You need to conduct personal interviews, check references, performing background checks. All these are time-consuming tasks, right? You're responsible for managing them, payroll taxes or tax records and all that. It's almost like you're hiring somebody, and 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 you're liable, which is something that you need to address. You're liable for job-related accidents at your home. So a big no-no for that, right? But there's ways that you can protect yourself against that as well. The pros of hiring an agency are, you have first, we just go with the pros and cons of going off. Now the pros and cons of going with an agency, which are kind of obvious, right? With an agency, you have the possibility of several caregivers to choose from. The agency offers backup caregivers. They train and certified, right? They know how to vet them. We know how to vet them because we know where they come from. We have direct access to them. We check out references. We do level 2 background checks at the state level. At the time of hire, agencies are required to supervise. We're required to supervise and evaluate them at all times. They participate in ongoing training, and agencies carry liability insurance. So no matter what happens, the family is never, liable for anything, and the agency is protected as well if something were to happen. And then employees are insured or bonded to protect you against any theft, damages, any stupid weird stuff that may happen. The cons are the different caregivers may be if you go through different caregivers at all times, that may disrupt the chemistry with the patient, especially Alzheimer's and dementia patients. And then obviously this one, home care agencies cost more, right? Usually anywhere from $3 to $10 an hour more than if you did it yourself. And it's in this point that I wanted to focus on for the rest of the time that we have, because there's no, it's never a what's right or wrong, right? It's all circumstantial and it's all contextual, right? It's all based on what's going on with you right now. And again, the title, how we started this is, if your insurance maxes out and so does your pocket, right? What's next? Or the next best way to go. And again, like I said before, you never hear an agency talking about how to not use an agency, right? But the next best thing is not to use an agency, and then figure out how you can save anywhere from 20 to 40% of cost by going direct. And what I wanted to do was to kind of go over with you some of the, if you were to decide to go ahead and hire someone directly, what are some of the things that you need to do? Where do you get them? How do you vet them? How do you protect yourself and all that stuff, right? So, and again, this is something that I would cover in another, probably in another Facebook Live, something a little bit more length. But today, if you were in a situation where you needed to save cash and maximize the care, and it didn't make sense, or the agency wasn't enough, you needed to hire outside. The way that you do that is, first you need to source them, right? And one way that you can do that directly is going to, Craigslist, all right, or Indeed, right, and then just basically put a job post, and in that job post, be very specific on what it is that you're looking for, right, and then and you're gonna get people that are interested. We do it ourselves. With my grandmother's 101 years old, and she lives just a few blocks from our agency. And we hire direct. We hire through the agency, and we hire also direct help, because it's a lot of hours. It's almost 24/7 that she needs care for. She's one-on-one, So I'm not only talking to you as an agency owner, but also as a grandson, as a family caregiver. And so what you do is you start with Craigslist or Indeed as these potential as these potential people come through, caregivers come through. You want to go ahead and take a look at one by one, set up your your appointments, your interviews, and then there's three things that you want to make sure that they have, right? As you talk to them, you want to make sure that they have experience, you want to make sure that they have references, right? And you want to make sure that they have they've done that, even though they're not licensed, right? Preferably they're licensed, right? Either a CNA or an HHA, home health aide, better. But sometimes they're not licensed, but they have experience, but they're taking care of people in the past. So you want to make sure that that they have a good attitude, right? I forgot that one. A good attitude, that they have experiences and they have references, right? And that's something that you can either tell over the phone. I would try not to just do the interview over the phone. I try to do it face to face. Have them come to the house. Remember, they have options, so they're also interviewing you at the same time that you're interviewing them, right? And so at this point, you have two choices. You can actually ask them how, what is your preferred range, or what it is that you're looking to get paid, or here's what this job pays. I like to come in with, here's what the job pays, and I don't have a problem putting that up in the actual ad, so that the people that I get are already pre-filtered, and they already know that that there is, if the ones that get to you, right, they're already okay with the price. Otherwise, they wouldn't have wasted their time in calling you. So I like to put up the price up front and say, this is what we're paying. And the ones that call in already know that that's what the deal is. And then you start getting into, okay, can I see your resume? They have a resume, always ask for a resume. And then go ahead and start getting referrals, references, right? Specifics, right? Where would you work last? What family? How long? What happened? Why are you no longer with them? And then start getting an idea, and then get about maybe 10 of those, okay? And then you pick your best, but you never pick finals, right? You pick the one you want, but then you don't necessarily discard the rest, because most likely the first one is never going to be the one you keep. And this is a rule of thumb here at the agency: is you never put your guard down until at least a week has passed and there's chemistry with the family. You always keep it back, you always keep a second and third options there, just in case the first one won't work, which is likely that it won't, okay? And so you just pick the three best ones, depending on your schedule also. What kind of how many hours do you need? So if you need 24/7, you're going to need a team of about maybe 4 or 5 of them, right? Or maybe 3 to 4. And so you have to maybe talk to 10 to 15 to keep, to keep the first batch, right, as a backup. And so, anyways, really quick here thanks, Marty. A lot to think about in this, man. You and I can probably appreciate, how it can get really interesting when you're looking for the best options there for the families that we serve. And yeah, there are a lot of risks associated with doing it yourself. But sometimes some families, yes, there are risks associated with doing the care, the hiring caregivers yourself, but sometimes families don't have a choice. And so this is why I kind of talk about, do these kinds of series sometimes, so to educate families as much as possible to make the right choices, even though there's certain risks associated with them. We can go at length. I'll go at length into this topic, because this is a topic that is more common than we think it is. So anyways, I hope that this was helpful. I'm out of time. Usually we do this for 15 minutes, but I know it's a topic that in this week alone, I've had 3 conversations with families just on that topic. So anyways, I just felt that I wanted to share it and put some goodies out there for people to grab. And if you have any questions, you can just go ahead and DM me through Facebook, reach out to us through the Facebook page, and I'll just be happy to help. All right. I'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you for swinging by, and I'll see you next time. Take care.